Is the real estate market going to crash in 2022 or even 2023? Hi, I'm Nora Spangler with Rogue Real Estate here in Bend, Oregon. Let's just tackle the topic of the crash. I've had so many clients tell me that they're waiting for the crash, or they're just waiting for I don't know what. So let's talk about, should you wait? Should you buy? How do you make that decision? And what the heck is going on with the market? This might be a little bit longer than my standard videos, so stay with me till the end. I'm going to go through very methodically 5 talking points. So I'm a real estate agent, I'm not an economist, so I had to do a lot of reading this week, believe me. I've been reading articles all week long, and I found an interesting article from the Dallas Fed. Here's the report. There's a link down below. You can read the whole thing. I'm just going to touch on several of the really good points that this report made. This report from the Dallas Fed talks about a special formula that they've created to determine when the tipping point is occurring in the real estate market, the housing market. So what the heck is the tipping point? And just to be clear, I do have personal experience with buying a home at the top of the market and then watching the home values drop. And that is not fun. My husband and I bought a house in 2006 in the Seattle area, right at the top of the market. And then you all know what happened in 2008. Everything crumbled. During those next few years, we just held on tight, and then it took a few years for the property taxes to catch up and for those to drop, and then a few more years for everything to start going back up. So after about 10 years of owning that home, in the summer of 2015, it had finally recouped enough value that we could sell, and we moved to Bend. So it turned out fine for us, and I don't want you to ever think that I'm giving you advice, that I have no personal experience. I understand that it is scary to buy at the top of the market, and we're going to get to why that really doesn't matter. That's point 5, so stay tuned. So back to this report by the Dallas Fed. Basically, it says that home prices adjusted for inflation have been going up since 2012. No big surprise there, right? But it's been slowly happening. Then, y'all know what happened. The pandemic hit. And that's what we call the boom. And everyone's waiting for the crash after the boom. But this report calls it an exuberant housing market. Yeah, sounds like a party, right? Not so much. An exuberant housing market. So it's one that just takes off, and by their magic smart people formula that they've come up with to show when the housing market is at this very top tipping point and about ready to have something happen to it. Now, that does not mean that it's going to crash and burn. If you find my channel helpful and you like these videos, go ahead and give it a like, smash that subscribe button, and click the bell icon so you'll get notified every week when I make a new video. So the pandemic happened, and the factors that changed the whole real estate market are options for remote working, government restrictions on gatherings. People got sick and tired of that. The mask mandates. Some states were much worse than others. FOMO, fear of missing out. Some people were just grabbing any home that they could, and this added to the prices going up. Lowest interest rates in history. Hello, that's a reason. And then on top of all those, super low inventory and supply chain issues, which even made the inventory lower because we can't build homes fast enough. So these are some of the pandemic factors that helped push us into this exuberant market, this boom. So this report identifies that we are at a tipping point. Now what? Well, now you know what's happening. They raised interest rates. Well, the Fed raises the interbank borrowing rate that banks charge each other, and then that triggers mortgage interest rates to rise. So you know that our rates have risen about 2 full percentage points from the end of 2021 until now, April of 2022. We are now in the low 5% range, which historically is still very low. So please don't panic over paying 5 or 6% interest. But my lender friends that I've spoken with recently have been telling me there are expectations that they will be 6 to 7% by the end of 2022. And as you know, that is going to erode your buying power. Here's a question for you. If you're a home buyer and you're waiting to buy a home, would you drop a comment below and just tell me, what are you waiting for? Is it for prices to go down, interest rates to go down, just to find a home that you actually like? What are you waiting for? That's my question for today. Drop a comment for me. Point number 4. What about foreclosures? Are foreclosures going to just dump into the market and create so much inventory that it crashes the market and prices really take a huge tumble? Well, that's not so likely to happen. I saw a video and the title of it was something like, foreclosures increased 39%. Well, yes, foreclosures are on the increase because there's been moratoriums against foreclosures for 2 years now, and those ended at the end of 2021. So we are starting to see foreclosures, but we are nowhere near what was happening in '08 by any means. So there were hundreds of thousands of foreclosures during that time that just flooded the market. And of course, what that does is make the prices drop. That is probably not going to happen because people have so much equity in their homes. I read a CNN report that said the average American has about $185,000 of equity in their home. So even if they lose their job, need to move, need to sell, they're going to be able to sell that home and not get foreclosed on. And in fact, I looked up and the state of Oregon is number 47 out of the 50 states as far as the number of foreclosures we have. So we have this many, very few foreclosures, and Deschutes County, which is where Bend is not even on the top 5 counties for foreclosures in our state. So what are the smarty pants people that know way more than I do predicting for the future of this year and next year as far as home prices? So the appreciation of home prices, or I'm sure what you're hoping for is a decline in home prices. But to be honest with you, nobody is predicting that. Zillow is predicting over the next 12 months about a 15% increase. So that's a national number though. That's not necessarily Bend. Ours is probably going to be higher because we've been at 25% for the last 2 years. The NAR, the National Association of Realtors, is saying about a 5% growth in price appreciation over the next year in 2022. So Fannie Mae is even more aggressive. They're saying 11% price growth. None of the experts who study this stuff are saying anything about a crash, a drop in home prices. What they're talking about is more, they're trying to create stability in the market. So they don't want it to crash, but what they want is it to stabilize. And that's why they're raising interest rates, because that will kick some people out of the market. It will lower demand, and they're hoping that that will increase the supply. Now in Bend specifically, I am seeing a ton of price reductions, and I'm talking like $50,000 price reductions. So it would probably be a good time to grab the best interest rate you can and grab a house that has had a recent price reduction, and then you can stop watching my videos. You can just relax and enjoy your life and get out of this crazy interest rate. Is it going to crash? What's the boom? What's the crash mentality? So I'm going to mention just 3 things that really should be your decision-making factors. Not what interest rates are doing, not what anyone else is doing, not that the market is about to crash or not crash. Who knows? We don't really know. There's too many factors, and I personally do not own a crazy 8-ball. So like I mentioned, the first thing is just have a good grip on your personal finances. If you're going to buy a home, you're going to have some kind of down payment. It doesn't have to be 20%. You need some cash set aside for closing costs, and you should have some reserve money saved for emergencies and in case you need to do a repair on the home. Don't leave yourself with zero money in your savings account after you close on your home. That's not a good financial decision. Second financial point is just, can you afford the monthly payment with taxes and insurance and some money for maintenance? It really doesn't matter what the interest rate is. It's that total monthly payment. And does that fit your income? Do you still have money to save and to spend for your family and vacations? And it's a budgeting issue. So you have to answer that question. Secondly, it's the personal side of it. What's motivating you to want to buy a house? Don't do it just because your friends are doing it. If renting works for you, keep renting. However, renting in Bend has become quite a problem because what's happening, a lot of investors are cashing out at this high point of the market and they're selling their homes and they're no longer available for rent. So that means if you're renting a single family home, you might very well be getting kicked out this year or next year. So let's recap. If you're financially ready and you have your personal reasons for buying a home in this market, should you do it? I say yes, and not just because I want to sell you a home. That's my personal belief, and that's what I have always done. If I needed a home and I wanted to purchase a home, I did it. I didn't let everything else going on around me stop me because I'm a financially conservative person. So as long as you can afford to do this, as far as you can see, no one can predict the future. So don't feel like, I don't know what's going to happen with my job or with the economy. Well, nobody does. So make the best decision you can right now. And the last thing I'll say is, if you are going to jump into the market, just stay with it. I had a buyer last year who offered 10 times. We made 10 offers and they finally got a home that they're really happy with. So, they're in a better place than they were before because they bought a home and all the craziness around didn't matter. They have a home. Their kids now have a stable place to live and to go to school and to grow up in. So, you have to make that choice. Is it right for you or not? Don't let the media, social media, and the craziness make that choice for you or make you fear making the choice. So if you need any help, of course, I'm always here. All my contact is down below. Please contact me or grab a copy of my relocation guide. There's a link in the description box for that too. I hope to see you in Bend sometime soon. And if you need anything, come and find me.